give me one mic. Everybody's got excuses, but you got one life to live, one life to give, one moment, one opportunity. Boy, that's it, and it's all said and done. When the going gets tough and the tough gets going, you just go ahead and run. Cause opinions are like assholes, everybody has one. They're being constructive or they jealous of the outcome. It's not about the times you fail, it's about the times you got up.
Welcome, everybody, to WTN Thursday Night. I am your host, Big Red, and I'm not alone. I'm with the crazy one himself, Kid Crazy.
How's it do, everybody? How's everything? Everything's all right. Hope everybody's okay here at home. Big breaking news today with some releases. So let's jump right into the fire right now.
Let me get it up on our screen. Yeah, it's been...
We saw this coming. We knew this was going to come in the last few weeks. There was rumors and on the dirt sheets and on the internet and coming out of leaked sources from Endeavor and from TKO, the newly formed company, that these releases were going to, thanks here in spirit, that must be JLB, I guess. Yeah. So we knew this was going to happen eventually and very soon, and today we got the news. But like recently, WWE has not actually confirmed these releases. These are either confirmed by the wrestlers themselves or by leaks to the internet. So some surprises here, and one I just see now that I hadn't seen before, and that's Mustafa Ali. But I'm going to name you all of them here. It's at the bottom of the screen here. We got Mustafa Ali, Rick Boogs, Elias, Elia, Riddick Moss, Top Dollar, Shelton Benjamin. Another big surprise here, Dolph Ziggler, long-time veteran of WWE, over 1,000. I think I saw John Cena post on Twitter not too long ago. Big respect to Dolph Ziggler, over 1,500 matches in WWE. That's huge. Big piece. I guess there's going to be opportunities for him going forward if he wants to continue wrestling. We'll get to that. Then we got Dana Brooke, Quincy Jones, Mansoor, Mace, Bryson, Montana. I guess some of these guys are from the next in line bunch of people that were hired after they coming out of college. Dabakato, Shanky, Quincy Jones, like we said, and Yulia Leon. So I'm not sure if that's the one I think, but I thought this one, if it's the one I'm thinking about, she had very much potential and a very pretty girl, a good athlete. I guess some people just are not made for the squared circle here. So what are your thoughts on the releases? Any surprises? Yes, exactly. Elias, yes.
The biggest two for me is Dolph and Benjamin.
Benjamin, right?
Yeah. When I saw Sheldon Benjamin, I honestly thought that we were going to see Alexander go with him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still with the company, and there are a lot of people who are saying that there's a chance of Matt Riddle getting released.
Oh,
that hasn't happened yet.
Because I know they're really strong on Matt, but Matt has some how can we say this? Some controversies in the last couple of years.
Yeah,
happening with some stuff outside the ring. But the potential is humongous here for Matt Riddle. He's good on the mic. He's good. Has charisma. Very good in the ring. But it's how far can this new company go without having? I don't think they're too much into the controversies. They want to stay away from that because that might hurt their bottom line, which is their stock price.
So that means no CM Punk then.
Ooh, I would be very surprised. But listen, we've all been surprised and we've all been proven wrong with CM Punk. And no matter how much of a controversy he is, if it was me, I wouldn't hire him. but I can understand how some people in the business might be interested because he is still a draw, like we mentioned before on this podcast. But I don't think they're going to be going that way. Maybe one bad apple can poison the rest in the locker room, and
Right.
problems that they don't want to hear from. But yeah, me too. Dolph Ziggler, I guess. Sheldon Benjamin, I guess we saw this coming. Hasn't been used much since the days of the Hurt Business.
Right.
Um, Maybe a little tag team run with Cedric Alexander, but never really panned out. I saw in an interview he did a few months ago, maybe even more than a year ago, where he was saying that he understands now that inside the ring he's probably one of the best of his generation,
Mm-hmm.
but with the mic and charisma on the side of charisma, he lacked a bit, and he wished that he would have worked more on that early on. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, right? Like they say. So once you're 40 years old and you've been who you are, it's hard to really change that. So maybe that's not a surprise. Big guy, talented, but really not bringing nothing to the company. Maybe his best part in the second run was his time in the Hurt Business. But
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler, you were talking about Cedric Alexander before, and I was thinking while you were talking, I'm like, could it be because they don't want to release him because they don't want him to go to AEW? But I doubt that, because if that were the case, then they wouldn't have released Dolph Ziggler if they were scared of one of them going.
Well, it's for sure that Dolph is gonna go with his brother.
I would
Yeah.
think so, because his brother has said before that one of his dreams was to wrestle with his brother, so that there's the door opening there. We know that Dolph
Mm-hmm.
has a very busy schedule outside of wrestling. Also, he does a lot of appearances.
Yeah.
He does
Comedy.
conferences. He's also a stand-up comic. He likes to do that also. So we don't know what are his intentions. Basically, at this point, we don't even know. Maybe he has to be released because we haven't seen him on TV in a while. We saw with those guys that were released a few weeks ago from NXT, the grizzled young veterans.
Are they
Those guys
released?
had
Is
asked.
it?
Well, they like I was saying before, WWE didn't confirm it,
Okay.
but on NXT, right, 2 weeks ago, there was kind of the not the funeral, but like kind of the burial of those two. Well, now it's only Joe Gacy and what's her name in NXT,
Yes.
the Rock's daughter.
Mhm.
So we know that they had asked to be released months ago, and that was refused. And so could be that some of these people just asked for a new beginning, a fresh start or something. Dana Brooke, which has been with the company also a long time. Also, we knew she wasn't too happy recently with the way her, especially since the 24/7 title was
Yeah.
well,
Retired.
retired. It's the good word, retired here. That she has seen less TV time, and that she wasn't really too happy with that. So we don't know which of these were released part of usual normal WWE releases, or some had asked for. But I'm sure some of them are happy for a fresh start. And yeah, here the possibilities here. I guess Mustafa Ali is a possibility
Yeah.
to go somewhere else. I would see him in ROH.
Yeah.
Be a good
Rick
addition there.
Rick Boogs.
Yeah, Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs probably maybe ROH or maybe Impact. Elias also has some potential to go somewhere else. And that's about it. The other ones I don't really know. Mansoor and Mace really never did anything, so I don't know if they have a future here. Sheldon Benjamin, I really do see him going to Impact also, type of thing, maybe a smaller promotion.
I thought like if they would release his contract, I thought they would like, rehire him as like a producer or something.
Well, yes, I guess that could be a possibility too. He's a very smart
Yeah.
in his in-ring ability, so he has a high wrestling IQ. So I'm sure he could put together some great matches. Like Jason Jordan does that in the back. So yeah, I guess Sheldon Benjamin is a possibility. I guess all these guys have the 90-day, well, except for the NXT guys. But the ones that were cut from the main roster, I guess they have that 90-day no compete clause.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the stars from NXT or the Performance Center, I think it's a 30-day no compete clause for them, if those are still the terms in the contracts that have been signed recently. I definitely I could see Dolph Ziggler being a strong contender in AEW. All the rest probably have a chance, maybe ROH, like I said, Mustafa Ali, and some in Impact Wrestling. Some of the women too, because Impact have a very strong women's division, which they call the Knockout division.
Mm-hmm.
AEW a bit less. They're still having problems to navigate that women's division. We saw a bit of that last night on AEW with Saraya versus Toni Storm. Little side note: I love Toni Storm's new persona.
Do you?
Type of gimmick? Yeah, I like that. That nostalgia, pin-up kind of style. Not bimbo, but like that pin-up kind of Marilyn Monroe kind of style there. I really enjoy it. She's really taking it. She's really put herself 100% into this new gimmick, and I like what she's doing. But so that's for those women. Maybe a chance in TNA Impact Wrestling will be for them in the future. And those are the. Do you think there'll be more releases coming soon? Because there are rumors of they're not finished, they're not done with the releases. And usually, what we've seen in the last maybe year of releases, there's usually 2 days. Like one day they'll announce, and then the next day they'll announce more.
I'm expecting like big names,
bigger names, right?
Yeah,
that's a strong possibility. I can see that happening, or maybe even while we're on the podcast,
that's why
we might get new names.
That's why I'm always refreshing my phone.
Yeah, it's so we'll try to keep you up to date with these new releases, and if we go off the air and some more come on, we'll do our possible to post them on our page for you guys to be up to date. Ziggles for AEW messed up. Ziggles' brother teased that a few days ago. So I guess Nick loved the Toni Storm gimmick as well. Throw shoe, yes, from last night, yes, that part of the that women's championship match. Well, we've seen Nick Nemeth, talk about this in the past, and we saw actually Dolph Ziggler tweet some kind of cryptid message on Twitter a few days ago. Well, we know what that was about, and that makes me remember, and I've seen it on Twitter today, and it made me remember one of Ziggler's best promos. I think it was during his time when he was feuding with John Cena, if I'm not mistaken, where he says, sometimes the things you love the most don't love you back. And that's a perfect example of Dolph Ziggler's career in WWE. Very underrated. Not only him as a wrestler, but his career also. He is a 2-time champion and a 1-time NXT champion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So 3-time basically world champion. Put on some great programs with John Cena, with The Miz. Some people
Del Rio.
Yeah. Yes. What's his name? Alberto Del Rio. That's right. Some people say that his microphone abilities were maybe what hurt him the most. But I've seen some great promos from Dolph Ziggler. Maybe he felt boxed in, because the best promos I remember off the top of my head, give Ziggler a hot mic when he goes to AEW. Got to be better than any Punk promo. I don't know about better than a Punk promo, but I guess with a live mic, I've seen some good stuff from Ziggler. Mostly it was when he was like complaining about not getting his fair shot, fair chance. But and it seemed like he used that story a lot of times in his feuds. But sometimes things that ring true are the ones that work the best. So to get the crowd involved, and mostly he put on some bangers. And he's kind of a soldier. He was always a soldier. Always kept on re-signing extensions with the company, even though he wasn't getting his fair shot.
Hmm.
So this comes as a surprise. He was one of the well, maybe not one of the five, but guaranteed one of the 10 or 15 best paid men wrestlers in WWE. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was between $1 and $2 million a year, with all the incentives and everything. He's a workhorse, always in the top shape, always keeps himself in top shape. Hasn't had too many injuries, so he's
Right.
definitely an asset. So that's why that's probably my biggest surprise here in this pack of releases. But yeah, I think the potential for him in AEW, uh, especially at the beginning, we obviously see that what's coming if he does go to AEW. What's coming at the beginning? He's probably going
Mhm.
to cut a promo saying that he never got his fair shot, and that New York always kept him down. But the potential is there. I would love to see some. There's some potential from some big matches in AEW with with Dolph Ziggler. So I'm very intrigued in what's next for Dolph Ziggler, and probably a little bit in a smaller way, but also intrigued with what the Mustafa Ali will do, because Mustafa Ali is another one with a lot of in-ring abilities.
Right.
Maybe some people will say he's a bit of how can I say, a bit of a complainer, like in the back in the backstage area.
Yeah.
Complains about his time on TV. They never gets a shot, but the in ring ability is definitely there. Put out some bangers. Also, I guess if he's giving a fair shot, maybe in a smaller promotion. That's why I say ROH.
Hmm.
He could probably flourish there, or Impact Wrestling with
He'll,
in the X division, which they have a great X division there, which would be,
he'll be great for the X division.
yeah, I think with Trey Miguel and all those guys
Yeah.
in Impact would be a very interesting spot for him. Um, yeah, and that's it for the releases. In the same kind of vein of the releases, we forgot to mention last week about Jade Cargill
Yeah.
contract expiring with AEW. So
Right.
she wasn't released or anything. They just let her contract expire, and there was rumors of her joining WWE. And from what we've heard, and the rumors are that she has showed up to the Performance Center this week. So we don't know if there's a time period there. Well, she here. Let me read this. Ali wanted to leave anyways. Let the man go and do better things. The positive Ali gimmick was fun, but didn't go anywhere. Yeah, I agree. Um, I agree. It didn't go anywhere. Sometimes it's a booking issue. Sometimes they don't have time for everybody, but definitely they could have tried some more with Mustafa Ali there. But to get back to Jade Cargill,
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to be a time period where they think she's too green, so she needs some time at the Performance Center just to get her in ring abilities a bit better. But I don't think she goes to NXT. I think she's a big enough star and she has enough charisma to show up to main roster right
Can
away.
you imagine if she shows up and she's tag team partner with Belair?
Well, yeah, I've seen the memes where they talk about maybe a Hurt Business 2.0, like we were talking about last week with Bobby, the Street Profits, Bianca,
Hmm.
and Jade Cargill. Now that would be a faction of pure fire there. Um, yeah, all these releases for them to sign a Jade contract. Yeah, I guess I'm sure she will be well paid because she seems like she's very confident in herself and her abilities. So she wouldn't go for peanuts. But the question is, when will we see her on the main roster? Because I think she will go straight to the main roster. You think it will be sooner rather than later?
I think it's gonna be the next pay per view. Well, the next there's if she shows up in NXT, which like you said, we doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I see her showing up at No Mercy, which is this weekend, next weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and or it's the next pay per view, not the one, not the Indian, not the not
Saudi
the
Arabia one.
not the Saudi Arabia one, but the what's the next pay-per-view? Fastlane.
Okay, Fastlane. Yeah, because No Mercy is now it's the NXT pay-per-view, right? That's happening.
Right. Right.
And then the main roster pay-per-view is Fastlane before that's the last one before is that the last one before Survivor Series or is there another one in October? Or
No,
that's the one, right?
it's the Fastlane, then it's the Survivor
Okay.
Series.
So
Or
I could see
or it could be Survivor Series since it's in Chicago and AW was in Chicago a lot. So
well, yeah, that's a
that's
possibility. She always got a good reaction in
yeah.
Chicago. Hopefully because I think that the whole streak in AEW with putting on just squash matches for her, I guess it got to a point where it didn't make sense no more, where she needed to start having
Right.
longer 15-minute matches, like she did with Statlander. At the end, those were good matches. So I think that's the direction with her. Don't make her the indestructible force that she was. Make her a very strong wrestler, and make her, but make her where people will believe,
Yeah.
in her abilities, which she does have. So I could see Jade Cargill coming. Probably Fastlane would be a good place for her to join, to come into the company. And maybe is it Bianca booked or she's still injured, right?
Well, she's taking time off because she wants to write a child's book.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, and I'm frozen.
okay.
I don't know if I'm frozen your side, but on my side I'm frozen.
Yeah, I think I see your fingers stuck in the side of your mustache there. Yeah, I don't know if it's
continue talking. I'll see if I can come back.
Okay. So so that's Jade Cargill. We can. I think there's a good future ahead of her in WWE. It's the bigger company. It's the stronger. How can we say the company with the most contacts, whether it's in the wrestling industry or in Hollywood, and the potential for her is just humongous. She has the presence, and like I've said before, I think she improved a lot of her in-ring abilities. She's a tremendous athlete, so I don't think that's a problem there. And I think the perfect place to get her to where we would want her to be as a wrestler. I think WWE is the perfect place for her. They can make her the star that she can be, that she can reach, most definitely. So so yes, that's for Jade Cargill.
Well, I guess I'm gonna be in black.
Well, at least we can hear you. At least
Yeah.
I won't be just talking alone. So yeah, that's Jade Cargill. I wanted to say something else about these. I guess it's going to come back to me. No, I guess it won't come back. I just have to think about it. It's going to come back alone. So yeah, that's Jade Cargill. Is there anything else we want to throw in there for the releases?
No.
I guess that would be all for the releases. So I guess we could jump onto our second hot topic, which was probably the talk of the wrestling world for the past week. And they kept it under the covers, and they did a good job of doing it. Nobody was expecting it. Maybe either one or the other, because I had seen earlier in the day when they were all those shows on ESPN, the sports talk shows, were all live from Boulder, Colorado, where they were promoting the match between Colorado, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime's Colorado Buffaloes against the Colorado State, and The Rock was on the Pat McAfee show. And then we didn't even think anything about it because Pat McAfee's been away. He said he was taking some time off because when he signed his new contract for his show to be on ESPN. So there was kind of some conflicts there of scheduling. So we weren't even expecting, I didn't even think when I saw him on the Pat McAfee show, But then when I saw Pat McAfee come out, and as soon as he said, "This is the People's Show," I go, no. and he put that smirk on
Yeah.
his face, and we heard that entrance music. Man, I haven't seen a pop like that since the Attitude Era days, man. What a pop.
Well, that's what happens when you're 4 years away. Huh?
Yeah, it was 4 years away for The Rock. And I didn't even think they could get louder because once the music started, it was like a humongous pop. Everybody, it felt like that Attitude Era pop where everybody
Yeah.
gets up, everybody has those signs in their hands. I didn't think they could get any louder, but as soon as The Rock like shows his face comes through the back, they got even louder. It was a great moment. I was all excited. I even posted a little TikTok on our TikTok showing how excited I was. I love the promo, love the segment. Love it when The Rock gets a live mic. It's so fun and so unpredictable. And kudos to Austin Theory there. He held his ground, and he had some good comebacks there. Got some good reactions from the crowd. So I really enjoyed, but I was really surprised. But everything comes with its good and its bad. And there was one thing I was definitely disappointed in. I was chatting with my friends about this the other day. I was really disappointed that he didn't mention nothing about the bloodline or tribal chief or the head of the table. I really thought that was the opportunity after having listened to his interview with Pat McAfee, where he says that he wouldn't mind coming back and doing a match, but it would only have to be for the good reasons, and that will get the people excited. And obviously, we all know what match The Rock coming back to would get the people excited, and we all know that would be against Roman Reigns.
Right.
There's no don't give me The Rock versus Austin Theory. I'm sorry. Where nobody wants to see that. Yeah, a little segment here was cute. Made us definitely laugh. Definitely a bit of a down for the crowd. How they on Fox. I don't know if it's the same thing on Sportsnet, but on Fox, watching it on Fox, they drown out the crowd. You don't hear the swear word. So you are an asshole or holy shit was being censored. So that's a bit of a down because when you're asking the crowd to chant, you are an asshole, and you don't hear half of the chant, it kind of like messes it up a bit. But it is Fox and it is a network and not cable TV. So the rules are a bit different when it comes to swearing. So, but yeah, I was very surprised, but disappointed that they couldn't at least give a hint or a little, a smart ass indirect comment by The Rock towards Roman Reigns or something there. I was really disappointed. Do you still believe there is a chance we see The Rock versus Roman Reigns at next year's summer WrestleMania? Oh, I thought Big Red was still me. So I guess the question goes out to
You hear me?
yeah, now I hear you.
Okay, yeah, I heard the question. Before last Friday, no, but now I think it's 100% on.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance.
I think so too. Somebody put out like a possible story or timeline of how they could get, because we all would like to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns. This is
Right.
how I'm going to say it. We would all like to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns, but we'd also like for it to be Cody to dethrone Roman Reigns. So, like we've mentioned before, my opinion in all this, if there is a Roman versus Rock, I think The Rock is there to put Roman over. There's no reason for The Rock to win again, to be champion again, or to dethrone Roman. I think if he's there, it would be to put Roman over, make Roman even more of an
Okay, but
indestructible force, and then that would make Cody finishing the story even better.
Excuse me, isn't Roman already over? Like, how over can someone be?
Well, because the problem with that, I understand, and I agree.
He's
obviously
over. He's
he's
way over.
yeah, he's probably the most over wrestler in WWE. But um, I think because he has nobody left, that he's beaten everybody, it kind of has stagnated a bit in the last few months, especially being that he's gone.
Yeah.
Um, so I think you need like somebody very like big, because I guess where they're going with this is they want Roman to beat Hulk Hogan's record, right? That's where they're going, because I don't
Mm.
see them. That's
How many days is that?
I think that would be another year and something. Let me go check.
I'm checking. I'm
Um,
checking. I'm
oh,
checking.
you're checking? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it's another year and some because it's another 365 days or more guaranteed.
1,474.
1,474, and we're barely at the thousand what? 1,100, 1,120
Yeah.
for Roman. So yeah, because he passed 1,000, but he's not really been there for the last. What was his last fight? Was at the SummerSlam, right? So
Mhm.
that was about 2 months ago, or maybe a month and a half ago. So he probably should be back either at Fastlane or the day after Fastlane to start building for Survivor Series. So I think that's where they want to go. They want to make Roman the longest modern era reigning champion of all time. So to do that, I think you would have to pass WrestleMania. So that's why I'm saying the timeline and the storytelling fits well with type of at some point between now and the Royal Rumble. This is my timeline and my story that I would like to see WWE go with the whole Roman Reigns, The Rock, and Cody road story. I would like sometime between here and Royal Rumble. Um, Publicly, The Rock calls out uh, Roman Reigns. Probably after something despicable Roman Reigns does, has to be really despicable, and that the Rock feels.
Okay,
Uh,
but we're talking about. Sorry to interrupt you. We're talking about like 4 years.
yeah, 4 years. That's I think that's what it was. The if I'm not mistaken, 4 years. 1,004. That would be 4
It's
year. Yeah, 1,004. Yeah, that's be about 4 years. 4 years something. We're already past the 3 year mark. Um, right, because it was 2000 when he came back, was 2000, around October 2020 when he came back from after the this first pretty much. I just hope she's worth it. I guess
Are
he
we
was
lagging?
maybe he's talking about the Jade Cargill. um but yeah, so that's it. So I'm thinking sometime between now and Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns does something despicable. The Rock comes out and calls him out publicly, saying it's enough. Uh, you are giving our family a bad name, and I'm the real tribal chief, the real head of the table of this family. And bang, which sets up probably him. I would think the easiest way to bring him back would be to win the Royal Rumble. I could see that happening, him being as number 30 type of thing, or around those lines, and winning the Royal Rumble, setting up a match at WrestleMania where The Rock puts Roman over, and then now Roman feels like he's really like the nobody can beat him, and then eventually by that time, maybe during that following year, Cody keeps on beating everybody he faces, because also Cody's been since Brock Lesnar hasn't been really doing much, right? There's
Okay, but if the plan is for and whenever they pull the plug on Cody winning the title,
mhm.
what does Cody versus Dirty Dom have to do with anything? How does that help Cody finish the story?
Well, I I guess they're only trying to fill up time. That they're just trying to get something for what's up, Miguel?
Buenos
Um,
dias.
I guess he was just trying to get something for Cody because we don't really have nothing, right? Brock Lesnar's gone. We can't put him against Seth again. Well,
Okay,
I guess we could. Because Seth has lost 3
but
times,
he,
right, against Cody. So
but
maybe he could beat Cody once and keep the title. But
but I'm more interested with the story with Cody, with why he brought Jey Uso back, and with all that with Kevin and Sammy,
mm-hmm.
than having a narrow match with uh, Dominic Mysterio. Like Dominic could stay in NXT. Well, he can't stay in NXT, but he is the North American champion. Do something with them there.
Yeah. Well, he has been this past week. He had a great match with Carmelo Hayes. Was it Carmelo Hayes or was it Tyler Bate? I forget, but I think it was Carmelo Hayes. I think it was champion versus champion, if I'm not mistaken. So he has been on NXT every week. He's been on all 3 shows. So that just shows you how big. I guess after Roman Reigns, he's the biggest heel in the company. I don't see no other bigger heel than Dominic Mysterio. He's the one that gets the louder reactions. He's the one that people has the most heat. And he puts on good matchups, matches. I mean, so I guess I would like to see Cody move on from Dominic, but he's involved in this storyline because there's basically nobody strong enough other than Seth Rollins that can have a good program with Cody Rhodes. And I know there's a storyline with Judgment Day and the Bloodline and Jey Uso and Jimmy with the Bloodline. And Jey Uso maybe, well, we actually saw Jey Uso this past Monday. Kind of refusing, I guess. I guess that was him rejecting the offer of the New Day and giving them the super kicks, and then getting the beating from them, and then Cody coming out to help. Where what's his face? The guy he was facing, it was Drew McIntyre, wasn't kind of coming out to help Jay. So Cody came out and helped Jay. So that's how he's involved a bit in this story. It's a bit of a triangle story here with Judgment Day, Bloodline, and Cody. And it's 4 because you also have Kevin and Sammy involved in this storyline too. So maybe they're going towards, I guess what they're working towards, we can see this coming, is a Survivor Series type of match. We don't know if it's War Games. They haven't announced if this year will come back to the War Games style Survivor Series or if they're going to go back to the traditional Survivor Series style matches. But I guess this is setting up a Bloodline versus Judgment Day with some kind of those guys, Cody, Sammy, and Kevin Owens involved also in some way or another. So that's where I see things going. And I guess if you have Cody going another year, so we're talking about Cody 1 full year and now a second full year. So 2 full years and 3 WrestleManias to finally finish the story. And if that's not the babyface chasing the title storyline, I don't know what else is. It's long-term storytelling or long-term booking. But it only makes after Roman Reigns beating The Rock, it only makes Cody beating Roman even bigger. And because I don't see Cody winning the heavyweight title, because it's always been about the WWE title for him. That's the title that always eluded his dad, that his dad never got. I think that's the one he wants to get. I think that's the one he will get. And like we said before, I think he brings back some type of version of the Eagle championship belt once that happens. Probably the next night on Raw, present a new old school teamed belt. So I think that's where they're gonna go with Roman Reigns. Hopefully, this thing with The Rock pans out, and The Rock will have his WrestleMania moment with his cousin. That would be also great for them, for the family. 2 members of the family main eventing WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty huge, and that's pretty a big honor for the Samoan family there. So that's what I see coming. If I'm not 100% sure The Rock, because like I said, I was disappointed with him not mentioning. Would have been the perfect time to at least just, like, what do we call those things? Easter eggs. Put a kind of Easter egg in your promo about
Yeah.
Roman Reigns. It would have like got the people interested and got the people excited without putting too much pressure on the writers and the booking to right away put The Rock in that situation with Roman. But at least it would have got the fans really excited. Even though the fans were excited, there's 100. I think the last time I checked, there was 100 and close to 20 million people that had seen that promo.
103 million.
103 million of that saw that promo, that segment on social media. So that's huge. That's huge numbers. That's that's stuff we haven't seen. Actually, we haven't never seen, because social media really wasn't there back in the day when wrestling was at its most popular. But that's huge. 100 million people seeing that segment. I've shown it. Some friends that don't that like wrestling but are not hardcore fans, or more of the casual fans. They'll watch the pay-per-views but won't watch on a weekly basis. When I told them The Rock was there, they're all excited. They wanted to see the segment. They saw it. They laughed. And everybody who seems to have seen this segment seems to have been excited to see The Rock back on SmackDown, which is his show. They basically started this show. They gave him one of his. They gave the name of the show one of his catchphrases with SmackDown. So perfect. Everything was perfect except for the fact, obviously, of not mentioning Roman Reigns. But what do you? So, like you said before, you said that before Friday you weren't really thinking that he could come.
Yeah.
But what would you see? What would your storytelling be with The Rock, Cody, and Roman? How would you do it?
Oh well. I think basically it would be that who would be the real chief,
Mm-hmm.
that story. But I think that before The Rock would come, there would be other people, like from the family, that
Oh
would
yeah.
come and they would try to convince Roman to stop his ways,
Mm-hmm.
like Alpha or
Sika,
Sika.
Rikishi.
And then I would bring The Rock's mom involved,
Oh.
and then and she would say, "You're not the real chief. My father was the real chief, and now it's my son."
Mm.
And then
Yeah. And
The
then maybe
Rock would, yeah,
he insults The Rock's mom, and that makes
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
The
that's a
Rock
good
would say,
idea.
and The Rock would say something about his grandfather, that he was the real chief, and I'm taking my place back, bitch, and and yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Obviously, I agree 100% where the elders have to be involved. They've teased that a few times.
It makes
And
it makes it a full circle.
yeah, yeah, it kind of makes the circle of life, and come back come back to the starting point, which was Afa and Sika,
Hmm.
and The Rock's grandfather,
Hmm.
High Chief
Hmm.
Maivia. So that would be. I think they would have to be involved just to make the build up to that match. They would have to get involved some way or another.
Hmm.
Rikishi also, because they've teased, or we've heard rumors of sometimes in the past year and a half, where they were going to bring the elders with Rikishi also.
Hmm.
Um, some schedule conflicts and some, I guess, some health issues prevented them from showing up. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that's
And for that match at Mania, like you said, we would we would make Roman win, but I think we would bring someone like, I don't know, Umaga's son
mhm.
in the picture to make the big Roman win.
Yes, to kind of yes. So not to make The Rock look
Yeah.
too bad, and also continue
Hmm.
the heel heat for Roman
Yeah.
Reigns there. Yeah, I could definitely see something like that happening. In my personal opinion, I would rather he beat him clean, because if we're gonna make Roman be the longest reigning champion of
Yeah,
all time of the modern
but
era.
have we ever seen Roman win clean lately?
Um, well, we've definitely seen him win with help more often than we've seen him
Well,
win clean. I
there,
think there's
there you
definitely
go.
some times where he's won clean. I guess it depends against who. Um, uh, Most of the time he wins with help, but I've seen him a few times win clean.
Because
But
I agree with you that he should win clean if it's with The Rock, 100%.
yeah, if you're gonna make him look strong, make him look as strong as possible. Um, but there should be kind of a reminisce of WrestleMania 18, like in the feeling, but the other way around. Like,
You talking Hogan Rock?
yeah, Hogan Rock, but this time being
Because
the Rock.
that was special though.
Yeah, it was special.
That's high. That's big shoes to fill.
Yes, that is big shoes to fill. But since it's the Rock, and the Rock would be on the opposite side of this, he would be on like
the Hogan.
On the Hogan side, the veteran coming back, and the superstar of the last generation coming back and having a match with the hottest superstar of this generation, of this era. So it kind of have that feel. The Rock has been in that situation before, so he knows, and plus he's great with crowds and getting reactions from crowds. So I think he could make that work. Whoever would produce that match, I guess, with the help of The Rock and Roman, because they have enough weight in the company.
I would put Hayes on that.
Michael Hayes.
Yeah,
Michael Hayes. Yeah, Michael Hayes has the mind for that. A few of his last matches were great. Were great booking.
Or even put Triple H on it.
Yeah, Triple H can take that into his own hands and make sure that everything runs smoothly. There's a few good guys in the back for this. I know it's not his style of the matches he produces, but not Sheldon.
Chad?
No,
Chad. I know where you're going with.
It's not Sheldon. His name now. I have Sheldon Benjamin in my head, but Sugar Shane.
Helms.
Helms. That's it. Helms.
Shane Helms.
Yeah, Shane Helms.
Sean?
I think it's Shane. I'm pretty sure it's Shane. Because somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Shane. The Helms. He's a very good producer, but it's not really his style of the match that he usually produces. But yeah, Michael Hayes would be a good producer for this match. And I think it could be one of the best matches in WrestleMania history if done correctly and if everything goes smoothly, obviously, with no injuries, because we never know. But reminder here, Hulk Hogan got injured in that match at WrestleMania 18. I think he tore his pec, if I'm not mistaken, or something.
Didn't he bruise? Didn't he bruise his rib or something?
Yeah, something like that. Because we saw the bump.
Yeah,
on his like upper, like right under his chest there. So we saw he got injured, but he fought through it, and hell of a match. We saw the crowd, because Hogan was supposed to be the bad guy, but the crowd kind of shifted during that match. They started backing Hogan, and then he did that hulking up, and the crowd went crazy. So I can see how this match, Roman versus The Rock, can have that type of feeling and that type of outcome in WrestleMania. Hopefully they find, in that time where you have to tell the story with The Rock, they have to find some better stuff for Cody, though, because we don't want Cody lose momentum, which I'm afraid he's starting to lose a bit of momentum because he's not doing much. It's getting stale a bit. So find me some interesting stories for Cody in the meantime. Put in him in some big programs with some top heels. You need to find more top heels. That's why when you said before, like, what's the point of doing this Dominico Sporco over here, Dirty Dom, with Cody is because he's the only other top heel where you could put Cody against. You need to form more heels. Um, that's why also Dominic and Judgment Day are on all three shows because they're the top heels and of the company. There's no other person really grabbing that spot. Hopefully somebody comes up and they could start booking somebody in that direction, so Cody can have some reliable opponents here in his story that he's telling, where he needs to finish the story at now what would be WrestleMania 41 if WrestleMania 40 is reserved for The Rock and Roman Reigns. But who do you see, like, if we just off the top of our heads here, who has the potential or who can be a top heel on the main roster that can go against Cody Rhodes in the upcoming 18 months? It's hard to figure out. I guess if you continue with the Judgment Day, I guess Finn Balor, but Balor would be a good opponent.
I think if you make Kevin Owens heel again,
Yep,
because he's almost there in the point of I'm not trusting him, So like he could be in the way of like feeling like he's against the wall, sort of thing.
Yeah,
and
I can see that.
And I would do Cody versus Kevin and Sammy as a special referee.
Yeah, which would bring which would have to bring on Kevin versus Sammy eventually.
Yeah, and that I don't know, and maybe if you put a stipulation to it, if Cody wins, Jey Uso stays in Raw, and if Kevin wins, Jey Uso goes back to SmackDown.
Yeah, yes, that's a good some good booking there from Big Red. That would be interesting. I guess Kevin Owens would be once Kevin Owens or once somebody turns on the other when it comes to Kevin and Sammy.
And there's your Sammy versus Owens on Mania.
Yeah, which that would eventually bring you to Sammy versus Kevin at a main event or a co-main event at Mania. I think Kevin Owens definitely has the potential to be that top heel. He's done it. We've seen what he can do with that. We've seen Sammy also as a heel. So whichever direction they go with that, whichever direction, meaning whoever's a heel and babyface, and when they break them up, I think either can do a good job of being a heel and can put on some great matches. I think Cody, both Kevin and Sammy can put on bangers against Cody Rhodes. Could go on for a program of 2-3 matches that will take up a few months. I can see that happening. I guess the more I think about it, the more I agree with the fact that it should be one of those two. Once they turn heel, would be the next opponents for Cody Rhodes. I can definitely see that happen. But so when we see The Rock again in WWE,
I would say the Rumble, I guess.
The Rumble, yeah, I think the Rumble is a strong part. I think if there's a match, Rock, if they do end up doing The Rock versus Roman Reigns, I think The Rock being at Royal Rumble is a 100% is a conclusion, a foregone conclusion. I think for sure he would be there, but I think he would have to make an appearance in the month before Royal Rumble, so he could type of call out Roman and maybe I don't know if Roman. We're gonna see now when they start building up for Survivor Series. Roman should be coming back
because Fast Lane is October 7th.
October 7th, so that's really close. So maybe showing up at Fastlane, or maybe the following SmackDown. Because another side note, today we had the news that SmackDown will be moving back to USA Network, starting in October 2024, so in a year. So it will no longer be on Fox. There's rumors of USA just keeping SmackDown and not keeping Raw, but Raw has been there for decades.
Yeah, but what intrigues me in all of this, it's not that there's no more Fox is that there's going to be a few episodes on NBC on a Saturday.
Yes. So what they announced with this new deal that's coming, I think it's $280 million for SmackDown for a 5-year contract starting in October 24. That also comes with what they call a quarterly show, which is 4 times a year. They will do a show on NBC, just like back in the day with Saturday Night Main Event on
Which is going
NBC.
to be the same time as Collision.
Yes. So
That's why,
yeah,
you know, that's
that's
gonna it's gonna be a Collision, all right.
oh yeah, it's definitely going to be a head-on Collision, and I don't see how Collision can
No,
AEW Collision can come out on top with
no.
that.
Especially
Um,
if they make it big and like bring people that I don't like calling them part timers, but part timers like Cena or The Rock maybe pops up on a
yeah,
Saturday.
yeah, I'm probably sure. So if you add, plus you already had the pay-per-views, right? That were on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So there's about 12, maybe 11, depending sometimes, but it's around 12. Let's say 12 once a month on average. Sometimes it's twice in the same month, and then the next month
Yeah, yeah.
they won't have, but it's on average 12. So 12 shows that you go up to, you go head to head with a pay-per-view, and then you add another 4 shows in that year. So that's 16 times. The 16-time champion, woo! 16 times where Collision will have to go head on with a WWE special event, whether it's a pay-per-view or premium live event or this NBC show. That leaves how many? 52 minus 16. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that count, but so
Can you continue
it still
going? I'll
leaves
be right
about
back.
what 37. I think it's 36 or 37 other Saturdays where Collision is alone, where they could build up at least a better following, where people can watch a bit more because it's really having a hard time. I don't know what the last Saturday did, but the Saturday before was horrible with 345,000 viewers. Okay, mind you, it was the same night as the last paper as Payback, but yeah, so it's they're having a hard time. So maybe this new deal will not help, but they got to find a way to make it work, man, because there's some good matches on Collision. The stories, I guess, now they're finally, without CM Punk having running the show on Saturdays and not being what kind of a roster split. Now there's no more roster split. Now they could tell the story. They could tell the story better and have a continuation from Dynamite to Collision. It's not like 2 different shows. So maybe they can get on that. And like I said last week, get some writers to help out Tony Khan, making more of a storytelling based product where people will want to show up on the next show and see the next show to see what's happening, because they were left on a hanger there. So that's the only way where you're going to get more people to watch. So yeah, that was the side note about that. About the Raw, there's still rumors that USA, like I was saying, USA will not be signing Raw, but there are some rumors about Amazon willing to sign, Disney even, where I would be surprised Disney for Raw. I was more expecting Disney for the new SmackDown deal, but now that that's out of the possibility, I'm having a hard time with Disney taking on Monday Night Raw, because you pay a lot of money for Monday Night Football, Disney. So this year they're having it on. When there's 2 matches, they have one on ESPN, one on ABC, and the rest of the season, because of the writers' strike, Monday Night Football will be on ABC. So with them paying an enormous amount of money for Monday Night Football, I don't see why they would go pay $300 million a year to have one of their shows compete against Monday Night Football. So I'm having a little problem accepting the fact that Disney might be a part of this new Monday Night Raw deal, but we never know. You could put it on ESPN Plus. There's possibilities there. I guess as long as the company pays what WWE is asking for, once they put it on wherever they put it on, it's up to them, right?
Okay,
Because
but
they
if it's
paid.
on
They
Disney
paid
Plus, if it's on Disney Plus,
Disney Plus or ESPN Plus, like UFC is.
what would happen to us Canadians?
Well, I guess that would still come up to the Canadian TV rights if Sportsnet wants to keep the Canadian TV rights. I guess it would still be on Sportsnet. I don't know when those deals are done, if they're done at the same time as the American TV deals,
Hmm.
but I guess that's another branch. I guess Sportsnet would keep it. I would think. They've had it for a
Well, they
long
do a better
time.
job than TSN.
Yeah, yeah. TSN, other than Dynamite, having a real hard time showing AEW shows, and it hurts. It hurts Dynamite
Yeah,
because it doesn't get the people involved as much, and the people wanting to see all the
Be-
shows,
because
so they just don't watch it.
because we do catch Rampage, but you have to watch it on your phone. I don't watch it on my phone. I honestly I forget that we catch it on our phone,
Yes, because it's on TSN.
whatever it's called.
Yeah, but I think now even they changed that. I think now you can't even to watch the AEW on the app, on the TSN app.
We do the
Uh,
plus.
you have to subscribe now to TSN.
Oh, you see,
That,
so I just watch Dynamite, so I don't know what half of this stuff is
yeah,
happening.
yeah. So some people have been complaining. I've heard on a few podcasts on the John Polak and stuff like that they were that TSN was doing that, and that a lot of people were pissed off because listen, we already pay a lot of subscriptions to a lot of different apps, and
Hmm.
to go pay another $15 a month, I think it is, or whatever it is, just to go watch 3 hours of wrestling, two other shows. Some
I would
people
like to
will.
know if that affects this ticket sales for when they come to Canada.
Mm. Well, we seen how Saskatchewan was completely empty. We saw uh, Hamilton was completely not empty, but not as much as Saskatchewan, but like
Well, the
barely any
prices
people.
too don't help.
Yeah, and those smaller venues. So I guess you have a smaller venue, you put the prices a bit higher. It's not the same. Um,
Well, just the Bell Center, I checked. The lowest ticket you could get is 110 a person.
yeah, 110. That's for the nosebleeds. So that's a think. That's a think about it. The people. Nobody. Wrestling is not really that fun in the in the nosebleeds.
No, I'd rather stay home and watch it in my sofa. If that's
Exactly,
the case.
on the big screen
And
TV.
especially 110 for a Dynamite.
Yeah,
No,
it's
thank
not
you.
even a pay-per-view or something. Yeah, it's boggles my mind what they're doing. We'll see in the next 2 months if the ticket prices go down, which I think they will.
And they better
Um,
not tell me that's sold out because I'm not gonna believe it.
oh no, 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 or else they would have already. Usually they like AEW like to announce their shows when they're sold out.
Hmm.
They like to pump that chest up a bit, but I haven't heard that one in a while, other than obviously Wembley Stadium.
Hmm.
They haven't sold out many arenas recently. From the pictures we've seen, yes, some might be out of context, some might be before the actual Dynamite starts, but it seems like the hard camera side is always empty, like
Yeah,
completely empty. We know for us that's been to wrestling shows, we know that around the hard cam usually there's nobody, like in that
yeah,
little section, but the rest of that side is always full though.
yeah.
And then AEW, we've seen that they try to always, the camera shots and camera angles, they always try to keep it away from the hard cam side. And when we see those pictures from people in attendance, it always looks empty. So we have TV ratings. People say, okay, that's I guess basically it's the rivalry of WWE marks and the AEW stands, where it's just them busting each other's balls, but not really. So without that rivalry and that nitpicking on both sides, the reality is AEW ticket sales, again, without counting Wembley Stadium, because that's the exception to the rule,
Hmm.
um, are down. Ticket sales are definitely been down, and the arenas are definitely not full no more. The Collision, I think, was it the Collision in Chicago or the All In or the All Out in Chicago recently, was very disappointing in ticket sales, apparently, from what I've heard. Um, the Dynamite ratings have stagnated at
Mm.
that 800 mark, 900, between 800 and 900. I don't see them breaking the million anytime soon. Collision has been a disaster since its inception, in ratings and in attendance. And Rampage is what we've been talking about since its start. 1 hour show on a Friday night doesn't really. This week it's a 2 hour because it's Grand Slam, right? And so that's even strange. Another thing, that they filmed the first hour of Rampage before Dynamite, and then they filmed the second hour of Rampage after Dynamite. So probably that first hour, it's gonna look empty. I would think that first hour of Rampage, because some people just arrive on time for Dynamite. Usually, you think it's gonna be dark matches before, so you just arrive at the time of the main show starts. So that's we'll look out for that tomorrow. Look out for the attendance for the show tomorrow, for the first hour of Rampage tomorrow. So tomorrow it's 2 hours, but we know Rampage has been struggling since its start also. So AEW is not as good financial, well, maybe financial because they're billionaires, but has not been in a good business place for a while now. So there's something's got to be done, because they won't be able to keep their head out of water for years like this.
Right.
Eventually TNT or Warner Brothers are gonna turn on them if all they're getting is 300,000 people to watch a 2 hour show, which I think they were willing to pay a lot for. So we'll try to look into, or if anybody that likes these numbers and stuff like that can look into the TV deals that they have in place, or the new ones that have been signed, if we haven't known about, for Warner Brothers and the AEW for Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision. I'd be very interested to see what are these TV deals, because like I said last week, if the company and some people are valuing it at $2 billion, then this deal must be big. How long is it? I would like to know, because I don't see them holding on to this product, especially Collision and Rampage, if it continues with the numbers they have right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want to.
It's a shame, because the potential for this company is huge. But some stuff they need to work on, like I've mentioned. So I'm not going to repeat the storyline, the writers, and all this. And I know it's hard to choose another day, right? So we were thinking, when they announced Collision, we talked about it's going to be hard on Saturdays. But at the end of the day, what other day can they put it on? Not many other options except for Thursday.
Well, I don't mind the Saturday, but why don't you do Saturday morning?
Yeah, or Saturday afternoon.
You know,
I would be down for a Saturday afternoon, like before supper time, like around 2-3 o'clock, where people are home. Yes, you're competing with college football. That's true, but at night you're also competing with college football, and you're competing with UFC, and you're competing with WWE pay-per-views. So I'd rather just compete with just college football than compete with college football, WWE, UFC, and all that other stuff. So I know Thursday is hard, because Thursday it's their ROH. They show their ROH show, but I think ROH would be more of a show to put on a Saturday, and I'll explain why, because it doesn't seem like if AEW doesn't do good, I imagine ROH. But what I mean by putting ROH on a Saturday and moving Collision to a Thursday would be because ROH is more of a hardcore fan product. Mm-hmm. It's more for a niche wrestling fan base. Mm-hmm. So I guess you could get those 100,000 people to watch, and obviously ROH is not on TNT or thing. It's on the app. So you could get 100,000 people to watch ROH, because they love the independent scene and all that. But at least on Thursday, you can manage to try to reach the 500,000 mark with Collision. I know it could be hard, because it would be on Wednesday and Thursday, 2 days in a row for their two biggest shows. But I don't see that as a problem, because these guys wrestled. If it wasn't on, they used to wrestle 200 days a year, to wrestle 2 days in a row, and many wrestled 2 times in the same day for a lot of years. So I guess these people don't have AEW don't do house shows. So if you're coming to work only two, it's even better for the workers because you come, you do Wednesday and Thursday, and then bang, you have the rest of the time off. You could do your independent bookings if you want. So I think it would work. But anyways, it's not me making those decisions. So it's up to Tony Khan, I guess, and Warner Brothers because they're the ones who pass Collision on their network. But something is got to be done. So AEW becomes because we all want AEW to make it, and we all want AEW to be here in the next for the long run. You know, AEW being here only made WWE better, and it gives us a different kind of show. You know, it's a more wrestling based show, but which we'd like. I hate dunking on AEW because people think, I hate AEW. I absolutely don't hate AEW. I think AEW has some of the best matches of the last 2 years in wrestling. But I also think they have to move to the next level. They have to give us more of a weekly show. And when I say weekly show, meaning storytelling and good writers. So I want to watch the next show. I don't want to miss the next show. So so that's our hot topics for today, where we discussed the releases, Jade Cargill, and we deviated a bit from The Rock appearing on SmackDown, but turned it into a bit of a AEW thing. But it's all things we needed to talk about, and it's all things that were that happened this past week, and we wanted to talk about it and let you guys know. So let's move on to our tops and drops. Then I guess we're gonna have to get a theme song for tops and drops. We're gonna try to get that together. Try to get JLB to make another rap or something.
I've been telling him.
So okay. So you want to go first on your tops and drops?
We're doing tops and drops first, or you want to do over and under?
No, we could do tops and drops first, since we put up the logo, and then we'll finish it up with over and under.
Okay. My top wrestler for the week is Eddie Kingston.
Yeah,
I'm very, man, Eddie. Very happy that he's our new world champion of Ring of Honor.
Yep.
I like it on the bottom. I don't know if you noticed, but they wrote "New King of Honor."
Oh yeah, they wrote that. No, I didn't notice.
Yeah,
I didn't notice. That's cool. I'm really happy for him, man, and I really like the way that the people backstage, they all wanted to. They were all happy for Eddie. He's been waiting a long time. He's been he has his demons like everybody, but well deserved for Eddie. Congratulations, Eddie.
Yeah. My top match. I don't really have a top match, and there was nothing that made me go wow this week. My top promo was The Rock's promo with Theory.
Okay.
It's The Rock. Definitely. You cannot say no.
No, definitely. It's a no-brainer there. It's a no-brainer there. We're not gonna argue over that one, my friend.
My drop is my drop wrestler is not really a wrestler. It's the referee of AEW Knox.
Okay.
He refereed the match of Moxley and Felix, right? Felix?
Okay, so you're talking about the finish?
The finish, yeah.
Yeah.
You see him once, you do it twice. You see him not moving, you count to 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It kind of looked weird. Weird. I don't know if they're playing on a story on a kayfabe injury, or if Mox really did get hurt there. Maybe it's for some time off, because it seems weird. You had that huge, and I mean huge, title reign of Orange Cassidy with that title.
Mm-hmm.
You put Mox, probably your most popular wrestler now, or one of your most popular wrestlers now. You put him over by beating the biggest workhorse in the last year in your company, and then you make him lose it right away. And it's not to say Rey Fenix doesn't deserve it, because Rey Fenix is one hell of a wrestler.
Now, was the plan for him to lose it, or was it like?
That's why we don't know. I don't know if we'll get news about it. I guess if it's kayfabe, then we'll get we'll get our answer on Collision
Right.
or Dynamite.
Right.
If it's not kayfabe and it was really an injury and they had to switch up their plan at the last minute, then we probably won't know. We probably won't know about it. Well, I guess we'll know by them not talking about it, I guess. So yeah. So but yeah, I agree. It did kind of hinder that match because the match was pretty good. But the finish was a bit weird there, yeah. And everybody noticed, and I totally agree. If you see the guy's not kicking out, you got to count to 3 because people are going to notice he didn't kick out.
Yeah.
And then your suspension of disbelief
Exactly.
kindly goes back down with gravity there.
Mm-hmm.
So good job. I agree with that.
And my promo was the promo with Strong in the hospital, if you want to call that a hospital, with Adam Cole and the other 2 guys. I forgot their names.
Yes. What's his name? Mike Bennett and the other one there. Yeah.
I just found it really, really cheesy. It was like
it wasn't a top. It wasn't a top. Definitely a top segment.
But just the sound that the bed made.
Yeah, but I think that was on purpose. Because even
wow.
even what's his face?
Taz.
Yeah, even Taz mentions it after. He goes, "Whoa,
what kind of hospital is he in?"
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it wasn't the best, but I found Roderick Strong funny there. But he's really, I never saw this side of Roderick, neither in NXT, neither in WWE. But I'm liking it. I like the way he's portraying it. But yeah, I agree that was a bit cheesy, especially before Adam Cole arrives and they're reading him that message from Olga. Was a bit cheesy, and the look of the I don't even think that was in a hospital. But
no, I think it was backstage.
Yeah. Compared to the hospital scene we've seen when Austin hits McMahon,
my favorite scene of all time.
Yeah. So yeah, that actually looked like a real hospital. This actually did not look like a real hospital. So yeah, some good drop there on the promo there.
And up to you, my friend.
Okay, so.
Oh wait. My drop match. Sorry.
Okay.
It's Jericho and Sammy.
Okay, you were disappointed in that?
Well, there was a few misses. One, Jericho missed, tripped, and there was another one that technically off the top rope. There was supposed to be a kick that Sammy was supposed to do, but Jericho didn't make it enough for him to get kicked. And so Jericho and then Sammy just waited for him to get up too.
Yeah, it seemed a bit. Yeah, I thought it was a good match because I wasn't expecting a banger, so maybe that's why. Like my expectations.
Yeah, no, I was not expecting a banger either.
But I've seen better from both, but I like the finish though. I like Sammy turning. I like Sammy with Don Callis.
Yes, that I enjoyed.
Sammy needs somebody. Sammy's not can't do it by himself. He needs somebody beside him, especially somebody that can talk on the mic like Don Callis. So that seems I'm intrigued to see what's next for Sammy and Chris Jericho. I think there's going to be another match where obviously this time Sammy will get over Chris Jericho. I can see why Chris Jericho won this time because it fits in the story, right? It fits in the story of Sammy turning on him. But the next one, Sammy's going to have to win if you really want Sammy to be one of your long-term stars in AEW. I guess I could say he's really going to have to beat Chris Jericho and then move on and then stop with the Chris Jericho and Sammy storylines. Just make a move on to something, to greater things.
I don't want to interrupt you, but do you know a Brooklyn Barlow?
That tells me something. Brooklyn Barlow. I think that I've heard that name before.
Well, she just got released from the WWE.
Okay, so another one. So another one has bit the dust. I could see where you didn't like that match. It was kind of disappointing, and it was a good Dynamite. So a lot of the matches were top. Probably that one and the Saraya match, which I'm gonna get to. Okay, so let's just get to. I'll start with my drops. Since you started with your tops, I'll start with my drops. My drop match is Tony Storm versus Soraya. I think there could have been more there. Soraya is still not at the point where we've seen her before her injury as Paige. Like I said before, I am enjoying Tony Storm's new character, but there was some mishaps here in this match where I felt disappointed. I know these two are good wrestlers; they're very good wrestlers. They could definitely put on bangers, but this was not one of them. Their last match that they had was better than this one. So that's my drop match of the week. My drop segment. I guess my drop segment would be. I saw it before, but now I'm getting a blank. Do I have it written down here? Let me see. I think. Sorry about that. Well, I can't find it. So off the top of my head, I guess I can go with. I think it was on Raw. I think it happened, but I'm having a blank. I can't remember. So forget the drop. My drop match was Soraya versus that. My drop wrestler was. I'm gonna go with. I'm stuck in between because my favorite match was definitely Eddie Kingston versus Claudio Castagnoli. I think that match was fire. I think it was the best match on Dynamite last night. I love the fact that it opened, and obviously, like you said, I'm so proud for Eddie Kingston. I'm so happy for him for all the work he's done, all the years he's put into, and they had a pretty good match. I think probably their best match they had against each other. I love the fact the finish with the fist and the power bomb. Plus, I love the fact Claudio at the end does the Ring of Honor thing and shakes Eddie Kingston's hand, because we know there's real heat between those two guys. I don't know if they've since then they've packed it, but they fixed it up. My top promo or segment, I really enjoyed. It's a short segment, but I think that's AEW at its best when it comes to producing video segments. Was the segment they passed before the MJF Samoa Joe match, where it's kind of like MJF going to the ring and then this kid with his father.
Yes, the bread scene.
Yes, exactly the bread scene where he yells, "Hey, MJF!" And then he comes back and he goes, "Go get him!" MJF gives him the scarf, and then because we know MJF has been a babyface recently and it's working, but always with a little sprinkle of the how do you say, the asshole MJF. So. And the segment finishes with MJF going to the kid's ear and telling him something in the ear, which we don't hear. And then MJF goes to the ring, and then all we hear is the kid asking the father, "Dad, I was adopted." And that was really funny. So I really enjoyed that segment as my top. So I said the top match, top segment, top wrestler. I'll go a bit outside the box here. And I'll go with Rey Fénix. I was stuck in between Rey Fénix and the match on NXT with Tyler Bate. I really enjoyed that match. I think it was the opening match on NXT. I was really debating between Tyler Bate and Rey Fénix, but since Rey Fénix won and is the new international champion, I'm going to take Rey Fénix here. Also, Rey Fénix is one hell of a wrestler. And I kind of like the way he changed his style a bit for this match. He went a bit less, even though he still did his spots, his high-flying spots, but he went more with a hard-hitting, kind of vicious style in this one. It fits more a John Moxley for a John Moxley fight for a match. and it's more of like a Pentagon, his brother style, more of a hard hitting style. But
Right.
I really enjoyed it, and I think Ray Phoenix deserves it. And whether Moxley's injury was kayfabe or not, um, I think Ray Phoenix will do a good job as champion. Um, but he can be a transition champion. Don't if he's gonna keep the title, he's gonna keep the title for a while. This title, what Orange Cassidy, the prestige he brought to this title, cannot die in the next few champions. It has to maintain that workhorse mentality of a title, you know. So and I could see Ray Phoenix defending this in Mexico, defending this in some independent scenes across United States, Canada, and maybe even Europe, because we've seen this title being defended in Europe before with Pac and Orange Cassidy. So I'm going to go with Ray Phoenix as my top wrestler. He deserves it. He's one of the best wrestlers, and he's definitely him and Dragon Lee in NXT are probably the heirs to the Rey Mysterio legacy. So I think those two are the best luchadors, lucha libre style in the United States. So I'm going to go with Ray Phoenix. And guys, sorry about my drop match because I don't remember.
No problem. You want to start your over and under?
Yeah. So I'll go with underrated first. And this will come from WWE. It's people will be surprised. I go maybe not with the way I've been defending him today on the podcast, but I'm gonna go with underrated, and not underrated in how WWE treats him, because they've been treating him very good, but underrated in the opinion of the fans. I'm gonna go with Dominic Mysterio.
Wow, you're going with Dirty Dom.
I'm going with Domenico Sporco here, because of two things. Because the guy has been doing it day in, day out, and not on a weekly basis. He does it 3 times a week. Put on a banger on Raw, put on a banger on NXT. Always shows up on SmackDown also. And now this week we saw him finally. Well, not finally, because I enjoy Rhea being with him, but this week we saw with the injury, kayfabe injury, or at least I think it's kayfabe injury that Rhea's gotten from Nia Jax. I think it let Dominic shine a bit on his own. Yes, a bit less of the promos inside the ring, because we know how that's going to turn, right? It's just going to be the booze, and we don't have Rhea to kind of fill in that spot, which she's important when it comes to that, because the people lower the volume a bit when it's Rhea talking. They let her speak. So we didn't see much of promos in the ring, but we saw segments backstage, both in NXT and on the main roster, and 2 big matches that he had in this week. So Dominic Mysterio is my underrated wrestler for this week. And overrated, it's a bit harder, but I'm going to go with and that's might be another controversial wrestler there that I'm going to pick, or controversial choice.
We're going to call you Virtual Costa.
Yeah. Controversy, kid controversial crazy. No. I'm going to think about that one. But I'm going to go with overrated Samoa Joe. The match wasn't that bad. MJF, I think, carried most of that match. Yes, he got the beating, but other than the pounding and the beating up, Samoa Joe, I know its age is catching up with him, so I don't want to shit on him too much, but in my head, Samoa Joe is one of the greatest of the last 15 years. I guess maybe even 20. Because 2003 he started around there, 2003 2004 in ROH, and then TNA.
Yeah.
So we could say of the last 20 years, he's probably been one of the best in ring wrestlers, and he's pretty good also on the mic. And now he's limited. I see it. It's not what I used to see from him. So maybe it's more of a personal opinion that I have, where I'm disappointed when I see his matches. They're not the bangers I used to see from him. Um, other than his move of getting out of the way, which is probably gets the best reaction from the crowds still, there's missing something there. And that's why I think he's a bit overrated. And I think his reign as a TV champion, right? Is he still TV champion?
Yep.
Yeah. They should move on from that a bit. Um, make him more of a backstage appearance and like a once in a lifetime, like not a once in a lifetime, but like appearance every few months. You make him come back for appearances because I don't think he can keep the workload on a weekly basis. So Samoa Joe is my overrated wrestler of the week.
All right. My underrated superstar um, is gonna be Jey Uso.
Okay,
Um,
that's a good pick.
since he's been in the singles contests, I and the story that no one likes him, I feel for him.
Mm,
I really want to know what's gonna happen with Jay. I don't think he's gonna go to the Judgment Day, but God knows. But I really I feel for him. Um, his faces that he does, that he's nervous and stressed, and his emotions. I feel like if I was there, I would hug Jay. You know, I
yeah,
love I love Jay. Um, my overrated is the Judgment Day.
Ooh, okay.
Besides Rhea and besides Dirty Dom, I really don't care about the other two.
Well, I can agree with you this week that they were both Damian Priest and Finn Balor were a bit more erased. We didn't see much of them or any new developments at least from them. So I can see how, yeah, they're a bit why you picked them as they're overrated because yeah, they've kind of took a back seat here, and maybe this is just they wanted to, since
Even
Rhea wasn't there, they wanted to make Dominic shine a bit
yeah,
more.
but even the fact that Priest is Money in the Bank, even that him and Finn are tag team champions, it does nothing to me. Even if there wasn't a storyline for the tag team titles, it is. I am not. I don't really care about the tag team titles anymore. I don't care about what's gonna happen with the Money in Bank, and you're supposed to care about the Money in Bank because anything could happen. I just there's no magic there for me.
Yeah, um, I can see where some people might be disappointed.
Because like you're the Money in the Bank, you want to know what's gonna happen, But like if we're gonna see him running on the go, okay, he's coming, he's gonna win it, he's gonna lose it, who knows?
Because technically he has a year or and to cash it or until WrestleMania.
I think he has a year. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Somebody, yeah, I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking because my friend was asking me this week also.
I
I'm
think
like, good question.
I think I think he has a year.
Usually it's a year, but
Yeah, because
before it used to be, they used to have that match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's it.
Then
They had a
you had until the
year.
next, yeah, you had until the next WrestleMania to cash
Exactly.
it in.
Right.
But now, since they do it at the pay-per-view Money in the Bank, is it until WrestleMania or is it a year until the next pay-per-view of Money in the Bank? That's a good question because I think why they want to of this tag team, why they made Finn and Damian champions. I think it's to further the story of the breakup of Damian becoming leaving Judgment Day and becoming a babyface. I think it's going to come through one of their tag matches or championship matches. I don't think they're going to be long time champions. I think a few months max. So yeah, I guess they're establishing that a bit, and maybe this week they just wanted to give Dominic a bit more TV time alone. But they're gonna have to do something. I totally agree that even though I love Judgment Day recently, I think they're the top faction. Like I said last week, top heel faction, and well, actually, top faction in WWE, and probably maybe wrestling right now because Bloodline is kind of stayed low recently with Roman being gone. So, but I do understand why some people would say that that they have to do more with Finn and Damien. You got to get me hooked because they just beat Sammy and Kevin, and then
Hmm.
kind of haven't done nothing since then.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, so you took away the titles from a very popular team, very
Hmm.
over guys, two guys that were very over with the crowd, and were having well, not a good run because of the injuries that they had there. So they can't really say they had a good run, but they definitely were very over with the crowd and probably the most popular tag team. And now you took that away, so some people will be pissed. So if you take that away, you got to make the new guys like worth it. So that's where they I've kind of lacked a bit. Hopefully this week we'll see Rhea back and we'll get to see more of Damien and Finn's story develop here in the near future.
Yeah. That's about it, man.
That's our overrated and underrated wrestlers of the week. So this was our Thursday edition of Wrestling Talk Now, and thanks to everybody that participated, that watched. Thank you to JLB, even from afar, always helps out here with his comments. Thank you, and we're gonna keep you updated on the releases when they happen. We'll post it on our page.
Hmm.
You guys are always welcome to come and chat with us and tell us your ideas or your opinions on anything about wrestling. Here on our pages on WTN Wrestling, or just look for Wrestling Talk Now or WTN in all social media. You'll in one form or another you will find us right away. We really appreciate everybody that supports us and that watches us. I know that during our time off in the break, people were telling us, were coming up to me, friends of mine, and some other acquaintances were telling me that they were anxious to see us again. So thank you very much for the people that support us. We really appreciate it here at WTN. Hopefully, you guys are liking our new format. Give us your opinion on that, or if you'd like to see some changes, or if you'd like to have some ideas, we are
Hmm.
open to all sort of ideas. So for me and for my partner Big Red here at WTN Kid Crazy, we say good night, and until next week, so long.